Hi, I'm Nancy Skinner. I'm a candidate for Congress in Michigan's 11th District for the fourth time now, running on climate change. But the reason I'm here today is to share something very important and special with every female candidate and everybody who's running for Congress. Some people call me my fourth run for Congress either insane or persistent. It's probably both, okay? But I'm running for climate because I understand how little time we have to act on it, and these heat waves have proved it. So I've had a really rough year before this, and then in the process of running as a female candidate, I became a victim of Me Too. There are 527 women who are now running, up 67%, yay, we're 59% of the electorate and 19% of Congress. So I'm so glad to see that blue wave is happening. But here's a new problem that developed. We've seen it with actresses being exposed and these directors and CEOs. But women in office who are running and having to dial for dollars, usually men who cut checks, they just cut the check. They ask what the max is and they cut it. Yeah, in the past I've heard, let's talk about your issue over dinner. What, climate change? You want to talk about climate change for five hours? Because I could go on about it. No, that's milder. Something that happened to me was far, far more egregious and specific. First of all, it's been a rough year. During my campaign, my dad got diagnosed with cancer. I took him to daily radiation and chemo appointments for almost 6 months. My mother broke her hip. I learned what caregiving is really about when you're at that level of stress. But my dad's a legendary football coach in the Hall of Fame and pressured me to keep going on and win in this race. So I did, and I picked up the phone call. I knew I had to get to the right people who support climate change and what we need to do, and get to Tom Steyer specifically and a couple of others, and I knew how to do it. And so when I called that person in Metro Detroit, very prominent individual who could help me, who confirmed he had all Tom Steyer's information plus all the other key environmentalists in this country who could help me raise the money and catch up and win in this district. I'm the only one in my race who's ever run for Congress. A lot of new faces coming back to Michigan. So I could do this. I could do this. He called me back at 11:45 p.m. that very night. I was shocked to see the call so late, but I didn't know him very well at all. And so I took the call. Maybe it was good news. He told me to come over. And when I said no, absolutely, he wanted to come over my place. No, he continued to try and persuade me in some way to engage in sex, and told me he had the ultimate cheat sheet and he can help me, that it was the ultimate fair deal with his very impressive credentials. He's served in Senate offices and at the executive level. So he could also hurt me with my constituency, which, like actresses, puts a candidate in a very, very tough position. I just had to try and get him off the phone, and I did everything I could. When he called back because I know the time, because I had just finished watching Stephen Colbert, never missed Stephen Colbert. When he called back an hour later, I was furious. How can he continue to do this to me? So I hit record on my phone, and I recorded it. That's legal admission. He said the same things. He still laid out the whole case. So now I have evidence. He has everything I need to help me win, and he called it the ultimate cheat sheet. He wanted me to come over, or I would come over, or alternate phone sex. This is disgusting to me, to have to hear that, reject him every which way I can, go to sleep, you've had too much to drink, you're going to regret this, you name it. Go on and on and on to get him to go to sleep. And I finally did, without capitulating, of course, to this ridiculous demand, nor aggravating him to the point of somehow it backfiring on me. Well, my dad took a turn over Memorial Day weekend, and he passed on June 11th, and we buried him 2 days before Father's Day. Then he called the next night, this gentleman. I opened the phone, recorded it, and I said, I just want you to know I just buried my dad. I gave him that chance to say, I am so sorry. I've been such a jerk this whole time, and I'm sorry for your dad's loss. My dad's very well known, Chuck Skinner, in the whole Metro Detroit area. He's in the Michigan Coaches Hall of Fame. I took him through all those chemos and talked about him being at my swearing-in ceremony on January 3rd, 2019 to help get him through those chemo sessions. And when he was dying, he told me he would be there. And I would have this jerk, even when I told him that, continue to say no. What I really needed was to come clear my mind. That's wrong. That should not happen to females running for Congress. We need more women in Congress. If there are more women out there that are facing this, they should not. And so I did the right thing. I promised my dad I would do everything. This is his hat. I'm a Wolverine. Everything in my power to win this race. So I still have till August 7th to win this race. And if you can't vote for me in Michigan, you certainly can send money to my website at nancypersisted.com and look at my bio there and my 25 years of experience in climate change, presidential awards, helping start the Chicago Cap and Trade. It goes on and on and on. I'm an experienced professional woman, and I was demeaned by a man. I do not want female candidates in the future to ever face this again. Thank you.